"Come with me," a single dad told a paralyzed girl at a bus stop. What he did next shocked everyone. The rain had already soaked the streets into a dull gray mirror when the bus stop began to empty, but one figure remained unmoving, framed by flickering streetlight and falling water, as if the world had forgotten her. She sat in a wheelchair, shoulders slightly hunched, hands clenched in her lap, staring at the road with an expression that carried far more weight than the storm. People passed her without slowing, without seeing the quiet battle written across her face. And then, from the other side of the street, a tired single father noticed her, and made a choice that would change both of their lives forever. Before the story continues, take a moment right now. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of one simple act to change everything, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The man who noticed her was named Daniel, though no one at the bus stop knew that. To them, he was just another exhausted father in a worn jacket, holding the hand of a small boy whose shoes were too thin for the cold. Daniel's life had been stripped down to survival over the past 3 years. His wife had died suddenly, leaving him with a 5-year-old son and a future that felt like a hallway with no doors. Every morning was a calculation of time, money, and strength. Every night ended with the same silent promise that he would not fail his child, even if he failed himself. That evening, Daniel had missed the bus that would take him and his son home from daycare pickup. His son had fallen asleep standing up, forehead pressed against Daniel's side, while the rain soaked through their clothes. Daniel felt frustration boiling inside him, not at the weather, not at the late bus, but at life itself. He was tired of being strong. Tired of being invisible. Tired of watching the world move easily while he dragged himself forward one step at a time. That was when he saw the girl in the wheelchair. She looked young, maybe 17 or 18, but her eyes held an exhaustion that mirrored his own. Her hair was damp, strands sticking to her cheeks, and her jacket was clearly not warm enough. Most people assumed she was waiting for someone, but Daniel noticed what others missed. The buses came and went, and she never moved. No one approached her. No one asked if she needed help. The digital sign flickered, announcing delays, cancellations, excuses. With each passing minute, her shoulders sank lower, as if hope itself were dripping away with the rain. Daniel tried to ignore her at first. He told himself he had enough problems. He told himself he was already late, already behind, already stretched too thin. But something about the stillness of that girl, the quiet way she endured being unseen, reached into a place he kept tightly locked. He remembered hospital corridors. He remembered the helplessness of watching someone he loved suffer while the world kept spinning. The bus stop grew quieter. Finally, only Daniel, his sleeping son, and the girl remained. Daniel shifted his son in his arms, feeling the familiar ache in his back, and made a decision that scared him in its simplicity. He walked toward the girl, rain dripping from his hair, heart pounding as if he were about to step off a cliff. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have extra money or time or energy. All he had was a voice and a choice. He told her to come with him. To anyone watching from a distance, it must have looked strange. A struggling single father offering help to a paralyzed stranger in the rain. The girl looked up at him with a mix of confusion and guarded fear, the kind that grows when the world has taught you not to trust kindness. She explained, slowly and carefully, that her last bus had been canceled. That her phone battery had died. That she couldn't move herself easily in the rain. That she had been waiting for over an hour, hoping someone, anyone, would notice. Daniel didn't hesitate. He told her he couldn't leave her there. What he did next shocked everyone who happened to be watching. Daniel flagged down a taxi, one he could barely afford, and insisted they all get in together. He lifted her wheelchair himself, straining his muscles, ignoring the pain, while holding his son with one arm and guiding the chair with the other. The taxi driver hesitated, complaining about space and time, but Daniel paid up front, emptying almost everything left in his wallet. The ride was quiet, heavy with unspoken emotion. The girl stared out the window, disbelief flickering across her face, as if she were waiting for the moment this kindness would disappear. Instead of taking her to his own neighborhood, Daniel asked for her address first. It was far, much farther than he should have gone. But he nodded and told the driver to keep going. When they arrived, it became clear that the girl lived in a small, poorly maintained building with no ramp, no elevator, no easy way in. The rain had turned the entrance into a slippery obstacle course. For a moment, even Daniel felt overwhelmed. But he didn't turn back. With the help of the taxi driver, he carried her inside, step by careful step, while his son slept against his shoulder. Each movement burned, but Daniel felt something else rising through the exhaustion, a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. They reached her apartment door, where an elderly grandmother opened it with trembling hands and tear-filled eyes. She had been worried sick, unable to go out herself, powerless to help the granddaughter who meant everything to her. The gratitude in that room was overwhelming. It filled the air like warmth after a long winter. The grandmother tried to press money into Daniel's hands, but he refused. He only asked that they make sure the girl stayed warm and safe. Then, as quietly as he had arrived, he left. The walk home was long. The rain didn't stop. Daniel's wallet was empty, his body aching, his son still asleep. But something inside him felt lighter than it had in years. What Daniel didn't know was that someone had been watching. Across the street, a woman had filmed the moment Daniel lifted the wheelchair, the way he shielded the girl from the rain with his own body, the exhaustion etched into his face. She uploaded the video that same night with a simple caption about kindness still existing in the world. By morning, everything had changed. The video spread faster than Daniel could imagine. Millions of people watched the silent clip of a single father choosing compassion over convenience. Comment sections filled with tears, gratitude, and disbelief. People wanted to know who he was, where he lived, how they could help. News outlets began searching. Social media turned his quiet act into a symbol of humanity. Daniel found out when a neighbor knocked on his door, phone in hand, eyes wide with shock. He watched the video himself, barely recognizing the man on the screen. He saw his own exhaustion, his own struggle, and for the first time, he saw something else too: strength. Support poured in. Donations arrived, not just money, but groceries, winter clothes, school supplies for his son. A local organization reached out and offered Daniel a stable job with better hours. Another group offered physical therapy assistance for the girl from the bus stop, whose story had also touched hearts. Volunteers worked to install a ramp at her building. People who had never met her cared because one man had cared first. Weeks later, Daniel and his son visited the girl again, this time in sunlight. She smiled more easily now. Hope sat differently on her shoulders. Her world had expanded beyond that bus stop, beyond waiting and being forgotten. Daniel's life didn't become perfect. He still struggled. He still got tired. But something fundamental had shifted. He understood now that kindness was not an extra thing reserved for people with abundance. It was something that grew strongest in those who had the least. And sometimes, helping someone else stand, or sit, was the very thing that helped you stand again too. As this story comes close to its end, take a moment to reflect. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even in exhaustion we can choose compassion, please like this video, share it, and engage with it. Your interaction helps spread stories that restore faith in humanity. And before the final moment, here's a special request. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe one small act can change a life. Because somewhere tonight, someone is sitting at their own bus stop, waiting not just for a ride, but for someone to notice them.